Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, everybody.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
Move the mic. Move it.
Today we're talking about Jannah. We're talking about companionship, the importance of it.
Yeah,
Nothing was ever built alone, and I don't want anyone to ever believe.
Wait,
this
what? What do you mean?
What was built alone? Except in the case of Allah.
Say this one again.
Yeah.
We'll cancel you.
Yeah.
Except in the case of Allah, okay?
You was about to get thrown in the dirt. And you was about to see. And we got our brother here, Akhuna fil Islam. Akhuna Sudan.
We brought a new companion here on tonight.
Introduce yourself, my brother.
Alhamdulillah, my name is Muhammad.
Salam ya Muhammad.
All right, start us off, man.
Okay, let's talk about even in society. Hold on, we're gonna start off with a hadith from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. It's related by I believe Abu Dawood. He said, "Verily, be congregated in Jama'ah. Verily, the wolf attacks a sheep when it's lonely. Don't be the lonely sheep that gets clapped." That's basically what hadith is telling you. Don't be the lonely sheep that gets clapped. And what is the importance of congregation? You even see it in society today. Men, you need a team. You need a group. You need people that are friends that will inspire you and increase you in goodness and join upon you. Like you hear all the time today, you are the sum of the 5 best friends that you have.
Yeah.
Like the people that are
hadith. There's hadith from the Prophet ﷺ. It says, "You are on the deen of the people who you associate.
You are on the
with.
way of life of the people you associate with."
Yeah.
And this is important in life. You don't want to be caught lacking alone. You don't want to be by yourself. You want to have good people around you. Like imagine you could have all the endeavors of the world, but if you're lonely, wallahi, you'll be sad. You'll be sad, and this is the reality of it. You hear it all throughout history.
I mean, you want to be uplifted by your boy. That's why we got
you
our brother right here, man.
Be with your boy.
An uplifting member of society.
Yeah, wallahi. Shape it, wallahi. SubhanAllah. Even tell us what you were telling about when you were in Sudan. A story with your cousin about the sheep.
Well, this whole concept of being in groups is not just a thing among human beings. It's a thing among nature.
Mm-hmm.
So you can always see a beehive. It's a group of bees, or a school of fish, or a flock of birds, or a wolf pack, or a pride of lions.
Mm.
It's like I used to live in Africa. I used to live in a village. So when I was a lot younger, I would go with my cousin. We would shepherd some sheep and some goats to move them from one place to another place. And me being young, every time I saw a goat veer off, away from its brothers or sisters, I would always run after the goat and try to bring it back to the pack. My cousin would always tell me to just leave it and stay next to him, because even the goat knows that for it to survive, it has to come back to its pack. So I would just think, oh, really? I would just continue walking on, and then I would see the goat in the distance just slowly make its way back to the pack.
Well, I see it. It's like a written law. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows it. It's among its creation. It's like you don't want to be the bee that's away from the hive, that's caught lacking, that gets clapped. You don't want to be that bee. You want to be it's the same in society. Like you think now, because in the modern world you don't see a lot of
Dude, in the modern world, dude, everyone likes to try and praise people. Yeah, I don't need anybody. I'm all good on by myself. This and that. Like trying to make themselves look all big and tough just because of this thing right here, just because of the music they listen to or the people that they associate. That they did associate themselves with.
I don't even like that statement. The word I. The word I did this. I did that. I did that. No, you didn't. You and God. So just take that out of your mind. Say alhamdulillah. Even so, why do you praise this? Like when people do good things, maybe you made a good accomplishment, a good achievement. Like, are you truly doing that for yourself, or you want to help the people around you? That's where the true benefit comes from.
You want to do it for the sake of Allah,
you do it for the sake of God, man.
Yeah.
You're doing everything for yourself, man. You're gonna die one day. Where's all that gonna go?
It's the same thing with me. Bro, I used to play football. Football was like another religion to me. It was something that it was my way of life. It was something I did every single day. There wasn't a day that went by that I didn't touch a football, or that I wasn't practicing or doing something like that. And Allah showed me that football is not the way for you. And as someone who was getting closer to Allah, I trusted that when Allah takes something away from you, He will replace it with something even better. And that's what I trust. I left football for the sake of Allah, and I was like, you know what? I need to do something that will be beneficial for me in my religion, beneficial for me in a way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be satisfied with me, and eventually, as you know, everybody's life will be taken at some point. But when mine is taken, that Allah will be satisfied with me at that point. And He will say, Hussein would have been a Muslim if he was alive for 1,000,000 years after the day that he's supposed to die.
Mhm.
That's what we should want. And that's what we like. That's what you should want for like the people around you, like your brothers around you. And what I've known from, you know, being around amongst my brothers, like my Muslim brothers, that I've gotten closer to my deen as well. And like our main topic of conversation, like 90% of the time,
is
the
religion.
deen. Yeah, it's the deen of Islam.
And it's like, bro, you even see when we go walk outside, like me and us and our brothers, like even when we go from the masjid, you know, on the day of Jama'ah, we reunite with our brothers and we go somewhere, we go to like a mall or something. The people will look at us, the people will ask questions to us. They'll be like, who are these people? They're well dressed, they're well spoken, they're walking with themselves in humility, and they'll ask questions about us. Some people, we have people that come to us when we go to like a gas station or something, they'll be like, wow, we're like, well, you guys, they'll just ask us where we're from. And like when we haven't even done anything. They'll just ask us where we're from and like they'll ask questions about us and they'll ask questions about Islam. And it's just like, the people who you hang around. You don't want to be hanging around like a bunch of stinky people.
Yeah, like I said, you know, going back to my point before, everyone, you know, tries to praise the fact that, oh yeah, I could just do everything on my own and this and that. Like, no. You have the wrong group of friends. You need to find people that are doing better than you. And matter of fact, like one thing that I've learned, especially like when it comes to anything in life, right? When it comes to getting better on your deen, or when it comes to trying to make more money, or when it comes to, you know, just trying to get into a better place in life in general, you need to find someone who has been where you were before and is where you're trying to get. So meaning, you know, you need to find someone who's above you, you know, someone that is where you're trying to get to, right? Because, you know, how else are you going to get there?
Man.
Yeah, and it's wallahi, it's interesting you say that because I heard a saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You're in the wrong room. You gotta keep on getting better.
And the other thing I learned about it is like, look, you have the master, right? And then you have the student. The master, the only place he has to go from there is down. But the student, he's always going to be elevated.
He's always going to be elevated. Yeah, subhanAllah.
So he becomes a master.
You guys underestimate the power of like humanity and companionship. Think about all the things. If you were to go and talk to every single human being that's on earth, think about the wisdom that you will now attain. Rather than just trying to find out the wisdoms of the earth alone by yourself without anybody.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
So look at all the battles that the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba fought in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know he won most of the battles, right? Mm-hmm. In fact, probably all of them except for one that I know of currently. So, you know, the Battle of Badr, it was what, 300 versus 1,000, mm-hmm. right? And they won that. The Muslims won that because they were unified. You know, they were fighting for one cause. Yeah, for the cause of Allah.
Give me 300 bad men. You give me 300 solid men, Muslim men, solid on their deen. The heart is the strength of them. Wallahi, it doesn't matter. You could put any opponent in front of them, they'll be destroyed.
Yeah, because they have the help of Allah.
Yeah, they got the help of Allah.
Let me explain to you the next part. Think about, so you guys know the Battle of Uhud. Mm-hmm. The Muslims lost that battle, right? Mm-hmm. So they were actually winning that battle, but because they weren't unified, they weren't in a brotherhood. There were some stragglers. You know, the other Muslims, they didn't listen to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, stay where you are. He told the people with the bows and arrows, he said, stay where you are. They didn't stay. They moved forward, and then they all got shot in the back. And then that's why so many Muslims were martyred in that battle. But you see, the example here is that, you know, when Muslims are unified, when there's one cause, you know, they're fighting for one cause or whatever the case may be. If they're unified in the cause that they're doing, you know, for the sake of Allah, then they're gonna win. There's nothing
mm-hmm.
that can
and
defeat you.
It's like the people that I roll with, if one of my brothers told me to run back and forth 3 times, I would do it just because I trust that he knows what's better. That's just an example, but like I trust what he wants from me. I trust that he knows what's better for me.
Going again, how can he defeat the Muslim? How? You kill him, you make him a martyr. You put him in jail, he has more alone time with mm-hmm. God. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, and if you don't do either or, he's gonna continue to do what they're doing right now.
Yes. And the integrity of a Muslim. Think about this. I heard a saying: the fear of death follows from the fear of life. The one who is afraid to die is also afraid to live. Think about all the Muslims, and none of them are afraid to die. They're prepared for the death. Someone may even want death so that they can see their Creator. Now, like put that into the equation. If they're not afraid of death, they're so afraid of death that they're so not afraid of death that they want death. Think about how they view life. They're the ones that are actually living. Think about the saying: the fear of death follows from the fear of life. If they're afraid of death, they're afraid of life. But if they're not afraid of death, they're not afraid to live. The Muslims, they're living. There's true integrity in that. Think about the halaqah that we listened to from the Shaykh. Remember, we were in the masjid. He said what he said about the heart. He said the strength, the heart controls the limbs. Like the strength of the heart. If you have a strong heart, everything else will be strong. Trust in that.
Yeah.
Your pure heart, everything else will be strong. Your eyesight, you'll be able to see the truth. You'll be able to hear the truth.
And you just said, like the one who doesn't fear death won't fear the life. Like they won't fear like they're going about their life. Mm-hmm. And that actually takes on to the part that when Allah grants you another day on this earth, you use it like with caution, like that this is a blessing for you, that Allah decided that your life was not taken over last night and you're here again. You're still here.
Your cause is still
God. Yeah, you live for the sake of Allah.
And it's endless motivation. Your cause is still written. You're like if you're breathing right now, your cause is still it's ongoing. You can't stop because your cause is still here.
Yeah, well, like, and
these are the type of people that you roll.
me and my brother here, man. We always be talking about certain stuff, like whether it's like knowledge in Islam or whether it's not even knowledge in Islam. Like we're proving to ourselves like why Islam is even more the truth, more so than other things.
Asking questions,
and that's what you should have in your brothers, man. That's what you should have in your friends. You should be able to rely on each other to seek
it's
knowledge.
like even if like you were like in the army or like on a team, you wouldn't want to be with people who aren't written on the goal. Like you wouldn't want to be with weak links. You got to be with strong people. This is companionship. This is how society was built. This is how the world was built. This is companionship.
The world was not built like that.
Hey,
how was it built?
Dude, what are you talking about?
Wait.
How was the world created?
What do you know about the what they call the barzakh?
I'm not entirely sure what that is.
You have no idea. You don't know what that is?
No, you can have to.
Okay, so have you ever heard about like the fact that souls before they're put onto this earth, that like before souls were put into their bodies, that they were in a state before
the wombs of their mother.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So that's not where the souls are. That's actually the barzakh is after you die. The one before is called it's something at Urwa, something like that. But there's a place for the souls. And have you ever heard the saying that like when you know that someone's just supposed to be your friend in this life, they say that you've met them before, like you knew them before you were born. It's pretty much something like that. And I truly believe that. I wanted to know, do you believe that?
I do believe that. That's how I feel about you guys for the most part.
Oh my God,
We're trying to meet each other in Jannah, bro.
Oh my God, man.
For real.
And okay, hold on. Let's backtrack. Let's talk about like and we're all from Sudan. We're all from Sudan, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ramadan in Sudan. The companion, bro. Ramadan, Sudan it's a very hot place. It's a desert. Desert is dry. There is water over there. There's plenty of water. But like the people during Ramadan, everyone's hungry. Everyone's angry. Everyone's hangry. But at the time of iftar, when the Maghrib Adhan azans, you will see people outside sharing food with each other. The one with the most is sharing with the one with the least, and the one with the least is sharing with the one with the most.
Dude, imagine eating dinner with like 30 people every single day.
Yeah, wallahi, bro.
And it's so peaceful.
And my uncle told me this. He told me, you guys in America, you guys don't eat from the same plate. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I see you and your brother, you guys eat in separate plates. And I was like, what do you mean? We're all eating the same plate now. So what does that matter? Why are you saying that? He said, when I eat from the same plate, you eat from the same plate. Now our blood is like the same. We're our brothers now. I was like, wallahi, I never thought about it.
Yeah.
I thought about it differently from that day. Wow, like he's my brother now. I'm his keeper. Like, I can watch him while he sleeps. He can watch me while I sleep, and I can trust him to protect me.
Me and trust Allah to protect you.
Yeah, as well, man. Of course, man.
I mean, shoot, man. I like my food. Man. No, nothing to what you just said, but bro, I like my food.
Yeah, but what they say, man, if you
look,
can't break bread, you fake, man. I'll give you the loaf of bread.
Hold on. The Prophet ﷺ, he never ate alone. He always invited people over to always come and eat with him.
Characteristic in Islam. The akhlaq. Think about the akhlaq that the Islam teaches the man. Like the true integrity of a man. Not to lie, not to slander, not to backbite. Don't ever raise your hand against a defenseless person. This is what they teach the man. Imagine the honor, the integrity. Lower your gaze. Control yourself. Always seek out knowledge and then seek out knowledge. Learn to try to do something.
Dude, like look at the greater reward of praying salah in together.
Congregation, yes.
In congregation.
You think this was like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala just made it like, he wanted to make it difficult for you? No, the reward is actually greater playing with someone. You look over to your left, you look over to your right, you see another Muslim brother playing to the same God as you. It would increase you in your iman.
Nah, it will, yeah. I mean, remember over the summer when we were in Saudiya, bro, and we used to pray in congregation, like pretty much all the salahs minus the silent prayers, just because we knew that was better for us. The whole family too, come on, like everybody praying together, just because we know this is much better for us.
Yeah,
like the fact that we may not be able to go to the mosque and pray with like a whole bunch of people. We have our own, like we made our own mosque at the house, and because what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell you? The world is your mosque. Like he created this world for us. Like
everything on the earth is a mosque.
You can pray anywhere except for the restroom.
Except for the restroom, yeah.
Listen, what does Islam value so much that is lost today in the Western society? Family values.
Family values.
Dude, imagine how much better people would be if they just didn't grow up in a broken home. Imagine if they would have had that. They would have had a dad. They would have had a mother. Parents weren't always fighting. Like look at the divorce rate in America, and you see the way people grow up here. It's miserable. Like it's sad to look at. Like I honestly I feel bad for those kinds of people.
And hold on, wait, hey brother, I'm not gonna lie to you. You need to start talking. What's wrong with
I
you?
don't know. I'm kind of agreeing with everything you guys are saying.
So then jump in, ask something.
I mean,
You ever written an essay? You can't just say, "Oh, I agree with you." You have to add supporting details. Like you gotta add evidence to the claim.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just really thinking.
Well,
I'm
but
taking everything in.
you know, I take everything in. You know what the akhlaq of the Muslim man is? They speak little unless that what you know about. Speak little.
See,
You a man is not with his honor when he holds his tongue.
I mean, you can, but like you can always, jump in, give your side of the thing if it goes with what we're saying, right?
yeah.
Just like we give examples, and we were talking about Sudan, we were talking about our own experiences and stuff like that. That's what people want to hear, because people need to understand that we're just like them. People need to understand that, yes, we are all
Humans
different people. We all go through different things. We all think differently. But when you come back to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you turn to Allah before you return to Him, then we're all in the same in that sense, because we all
humans
have to do
are
the
like
same
one
exact
another.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah, we are all alike, but I feel like my main purpose here is because I have trust in each one of you that you guys will carry your lives correctly. So why I'm listening more than I'm speaking is because I really want to take knowledge from this sitting and take it back to people who I know need my help.
SubhanAllah.
So wait. I actually have a good question for everybody. So
Okay.
if you had a friend and they were lacking, like they
Yeah.
were someone who was struggling with prayer or something like that, but they wouldn't come to you or anything, but you see it, like you notice with their eyes that they might be someone who's struggling or that they're not doing right. What would you tell them? How would you approach them?
I would approach them from a place of understanding, really, because I can't lie. I'm human being, so I've always struggled with certain things, especially with my religion. So I'll always ask them why they feel the way they do. So,
Okay, what about if it was one of us or our brother?
well, if it was one of us, just for example, just for argument's sake, somebody who didn't pray, I wouldn't tell them directly to go pray, or if you don't pray, this will happen to you. If you don't pray, that will happen to you. But I'll only say, for example, I'll speak from my own experience because I'm comfortable doing that. Before I would only pray my main 5 prayers. I've always been this way. Since I was 7, I would be doing all 5 of my prayers. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And it's always just been a routine thing. It's like I always, from when I was really, really young, I would establish my life around prayer. So I always knew the time of prayer. That's why I never have, an adhan on my phone or anything, because I usually know. Especially living in Sudan, it made it even easier because I would always hear the mosque. No matter where you are in Sudan, you would hear a mosque.
Exactly. Yep.
It'll let you know it was the time of prayer. But as I, began to live longer and longer, I realized that, I'm a human being, that I've sinned. I sin pretty regularly, whether it be cursing or eating a certain food that I didn't know or listening to music. So I understand that while I do these sins, I'm almost in a deficit. These 5 prayers aren't enough. So I started to do the extra 2
the sunnah.
the sunnah after the fajr, and I would do the shifr wal witr after the isha prayer. And now I do that regularly, and even that doesn't feel enough. So if I explain this kind of point of view to somebody who doesn't pray, it's like I'm trying to tell them, like, I'm doing a lot more than what I'm supposed to be doing, and it doesn't feel
That's
like enough.
actually remarkably shift. Like that's so like
That's good.
true. Like wait, hold on. What you just said, that is exactly how I approached it when I was like, getting on top of my deen. Because as we've like reiterated time and time again, this is a journey. And for me, it's the same type of journey. It started with like, okay, I started praying, right? But then it got to a point where I was like, okay, I need to truly understand the meaning of why prayer is obligatory. Why is it the second pillar of Islam? And once I did that, then I was like, okay, me and five time prayers is not enough. Even though it's obligatory.
Yeah.
That's basically Allah saying, yeah, this is what you have to do. But then the extra prayers on top of that is more like a call for help to Allah, calling for guidance and help. The 5 daily prayers, that's, you have to have that conversation with Allah to keep that iman in your heart. But then to grow the iman in your heart is to do more, to make more dua, to send salawat on the Prophet, because that's a form of ibadah. Sending salawat on the Prophet, it's a form of ibadah. It's a form of worship.
Fast more days.
Yeah, fasting more days, understanding
Helping your brothers, making yourself available for help.
Like truly taking that type of stuff in, and you understand, like, okay, maybe nothing will be enough, but the fact that you understand that, the fact that you have that in your heart, that's a sign from Allah that there's iman in your heart, there's strength inside your heart. that you understand, you know, nothing may be enough because, you know, we don't get into Jannah based off of what we do. We make Jannah off of His mercy. Like we need to earn the mercy of Allah because He's given us so much. Like there's so much that we are blessed with besides the materialistic things, besides any money you're given or any phones or gadgets or whatever. You know, the ability that you just have to see, to be able to wake up every single morning and look at the sky, look at the creations of Allah. You know, what does it say? Surah Rahman. What does it say? They prostrate to Allah. You get like you're looking at these creations of Allah. These are things that praise Allah without doubt.
Wallahi, bro, like I even like to think sometimes I can breathe through my nose and through my mouth. I have 2 ways of breathing. Wallahi, I have 2 ways of breathing. Wallahi, that's crazy.
And you can see the fact that, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave us muscles, He gave us limbs, He gave us the ability.
He gave us strength. He gave mankind strength. Yeah, in Surah Al-Mudaththir, He gave mankind strength. He strengthened him to his peak when you're in your 30s or something like that. To his peak. And then mankind defiantly disobeys Him. Defiantly disobeys Him, and you defiantly openly challenges God. Like, bro, He gave you the strength, and then you started out like a baby, and then you return like a baby. You'll become old, brittle, and you'll need a nursing home. You need someone to suckle you and take you to the bathroom.
And He says, "Will they then not?
Will they not believe?
Yeah, will they?
Like, who is more wicked than this person? Could you imagine?"
That was actually like really simple what you just said, and so I really want to know exactly if it was him. If he was the one that you saw not praying, what would you tell him? I want to know. Like, I want to know what everybody would say, but like, I'm going to start with you.
Well, I would ask him why he's not praying.
What would you say? Just pretend for the sake of this.
I mean, yeah, going back to the person, I'd ask him, you know, what's going on with their life, you know, right now. And I'm going to ask them, you know, why they're not praying. And then after that, I'm going to, you know, establish the, you know, the importance of prayer because, you know, whatever they're going through, you know, prayer is going to be a means of getting out of that, right? You know, and with the hardship is going to come ease. So, and it's a struggle for all of us. You know, everyone struggles with something, you know, whether it be the hijab, whether it be the prayer, whether it be, but you know, we have to understand how the prayer is the most important thing.
And also, along with the prayer, like that's why I feel like it's important to have good people around you. Because maybe you're struggling with something, but like imagine being around a whole bunch of Muslims and like
they're constantly praying.
You know you're struggling, and you see the people that are constantly praying. Like, bro, I can't be the only one that's not praying. I can't be the only one that's not like seeking forgiveness from my Lord. Like you see it, and then you look at everybody else's lives. You can't see the struggles, but you see like their gifts. Like you see what they're getting. Like, wow, now I gotta pray. Maybe my life will be turned around after I pray.
Yeah.
Like
I remember,
these are just the thoughts that like will go through your head.
Like it's once you're to a point where you're comfortable with people, like with people around you, then things like no matter what you tell them, because you always want to tell them the truth, whether they want to hear it or not. And that's the type of person I am. That you won't care how they react because you know you've done your part now. You've told them the truth. If they turn away, that's on them now. And you know, if they're not good for you, then Allah will take them away from you because they're not better for you. And I remember with him, like I used to get on him sometimes. Like I used to, because this guy's my brother. I would get on you because like you get on me. Like for example, this dude, he told me he's the reason. Like he's not the reason, but he's part of the reason why I just like completely just let go of music altogether. He said, "Yeah, I don't listen to music." I was like, "Yeah, it's haram." I was like, "Oh shoot, all right." Like, bro, I didn't question it because I trust this dude. I trust this dude more than my life. Like before I had knowledge on Islam, this dude had the knowledge. Like I wouldn't. I had so much trust in this guy. I'd go to him before I even go to an imam because I was like, you know what, this dude, he knows. But if he doesn't know, then I'll go ask a sheikh.
Go ask someone of knowledge.
Wallahi, that brings up another of my points. Bro, in the West, you know, it's very like common nowadays. The people are disrespectful toward their family, but when they see a stranger, they'll take any advice that they say or they'll be extremely nice to them. No, it's backwards. Like, I'm not saying be mean to the stranger, but you're supposed to be extremely respectful towards your family and you're supposed to take their knowledge. You're supposed to trust them with anything that they say. Like I know, I say my brothers are the only people in the world who can stop me in my tracks and tell me I'm doing wrong, and I completely 100% trust them. Those are the only people in the world that can do that.
And you know, it's crazy because wait, you said, what did you just say about the you won't listen to strangers?
Yeah,
or you will listen.
You'll be gullible towards the strangers. They'll tell you anything. They'll tell you they'll tell you the government's watching right now, and then you start looking around. Like you'll believe anything from the strangers. But then when your brother tells you it, like, dude, you're
or not even right. Your mom tells you to go take out the trash, and you're over here arguing with her about that.
Yeah, but then your friend tells you to get on the game. Like you're like that. Like it.
That's shaitan, bro. That's shaitan just turning you away.
You have to understand, bro. Someone who can't even pray to their Lord 5 times a day, like what makes you think they're really gonna listen to you as a, you know, when you're coming at them with genuine and good advice.
How would y'all lift up a friend of yours who is not as fortunate as you? Like if you, let's say you came into some money, how would you uplift your friend?
I'll get him the bag too.
Dude, I'm gonna put him on. Look,
Yeah,
listen.
I'm gonna put him
You have to
on.
understand. Look, hold on, bro. You give a man a fish one time, you feed him for that day. But you teach a man how to fish, you feed him for life. So the same thing. If I start making money and I start, you know, getting up there, if I get on the knowledge of Islam and I get on the Deen, I'm gonna put my brother on too. I want for my brother what I want for myself.
Hey,
And
Hold on. How do you ensure that like this brother's not just leeching off of you, not just someone who's just gonna keep
can't-
you
I know,
back?
Look, listen.
I can't. I don't know what's in his heart, but I surround myself with people. I surround myself with Muslims. Muslims hold themselves with integrity. That's how much
You said, how do I know? Of course, I don't know. You know, whatever he's doing, at the same time, I'm doing it for the sake of Allah. So let's say if he ends up going against my back, I know Allah is pleased with me, and that's all I need. I don't need the fact that he played me. Okay, you know, he lost it. That's his loss, and Allah on top of that will punish him for what he did. You know, and may Allah guide this person. You know, because there's like. That's truly sad to see a person like that, because, you know, how can you really be like that? How can you hate the person? How can you bite the hand that feeds you? You know,
That's happened to me. Like I've helped people out like multiple times, and I knew like, okay, like you're a friend to kind of like, you're basically an acquaintance. Like these people are basically acquaintances, and I've helped them like without thought. They said they may have needed the money, or they may have needed something, like may have needed a ride or something, and I won't ask for anything in return, but then they'll keep asking me.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's not like it gets to the point where they kind of expect it from me. If I say no, then they get upset with me.
Right.
And I'm like, what do I like? That's basically what I was just trying to say. How do you understand that type of situation?
What would you say? What would you say, Muhammad?
And well, in a situation like that, I would have to now. I wouldn't just help somebody with, you know, getting a ride or having some money. I would try to help them find the foundation. So if they're having trouble getting a car, I would give them rides, but I would also help them find a car. If they're having trouble,
Help them fix the problem.
Exactly.
While,
I'll
like
help them fix the problem.
it's like they're in between homes right now, so you give them on your couch and you open up Zillow on the laptop for them, and they can look for home.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I understand.
Well, yeah, see, but for me as a brother, I'm someone, I will try my best to help you, but you gotta understand, I'm the same person as you. Like I'm not my dad. You know, my dad, he may have more resources to help other people because, you know, he's a working man. You know, he makes way more money than me. It's not like if I give you money, you have to understand that money came from a good place, type of thing. Like I'm not giving.
It came from my heart.
Yeah, it came from my heart because, you know, I'm not someone who just makes like all this money. So if I give it out to you, you have to understand that this came from a good place. I'm trying to do good for the sake of Allah.
What have I said previously? You do things for the sake of people, you're always going to be disappointed every single time. You know, let's say they don't even give you a thank you. You know, you're going to feel disappointed, you know, just by that. But when you do things for the sake of Allah, you're always going to be happy. This person might not have said thank you. They might have not given me anything in return, but Allah is pleased with me. And this is all that matters. Because, what you do for the sake of Allah will always come back to you, and it'll always be better. You know, there's a hadith in the Prophet ﷺ, you know, giving charity does not decrease wealth. You know, so whatever you do, whatever you give out of your own money, out of what Allah has provided for you, it will always come back to you, and it'll always be greater than what you have given out before. So I'm not worried about, you know, someone using me or this and that, because I don't do it for them. I do it for the sake of Allah.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, I do have experience being a people pleaser. Like there was a time where I was someone who just wanted to please people around me because, you know what, like I just wanted, like if they wanted something from me, you know, I'd do it for them just because, you know, I thought they wanted help from me as a person, not just because I was offering them help, or because they could ask me.
Because, bro, when people ask me for help, I'll be like, oh my goodness. But like now that I got started getting on my Deen, I'll be like, man, I just gotta help this person just because God wants me. Like, because for the sake of God, like sometimes I think to myself, like if I was not a Muslim, I would not be helping this person right now. I'd be like,
I really, sometimes I really gotta think, okay, how can I help you though? Because some people, they just be asking for some outrageous things, and I'm like, dog, wallahi, I really want to help you, like I really do. And I'll be like, yeah, I'll make dua for you. But there are some things like you have to understand that not everybody has the resources to do. Like just what you know how giving charity, you know, it's part of the 5 pillars of Islam, and then also giving sadaqah is, you know, it's sunnah, right? But some people expect it. If you expect charity, then what the heck, man? Like you're saying, give it out for the sake of God.
Look, listen, bro, the hypocrisy in these people, bro, is amazing, bro. Because look, listen, you have to understand, dude, these people have the perfect opportunity right in front of them. Look, living here in the West, right? You know, a lot of people here are broke by choice. You're not broke because, you know, they don't have any other way. You know, they just want to sit there and be lazy and be a bum. Look at most of the population. People be waking up every day smoking and drinking and celebrating straight failure. Like, what are you doing with your life? Like, bro, look how much money they put into that, dude. They can be using that money to invest into a business, invest into themselves, invest into the Deen, give it out as charity. They could be doing so much more with that money. But like I said, you know, they just want to go wake up in the morning, smoke a blunt and celebrate nothing. Like, dude, you need to do something with your life.
They're lacking the ambition, wallahi. And it's the people that are next to him, the fools that are next to him, the sheep that are next to him that are telling them, dude, don't worry, you're in a good place. Like, imagine if I woke up every day and smoked a blunt, you guys told me that I was in a good place and I was celebrating failure. Imagine, bro, like, I don't know, like,
or like that, bro, that's cool.
You. I'm not gonna appease you.
Like, dude, if I saw you do that, bro, I'd smack you,
like,
bro.
I don't know who's more stupid, the person who's waking up and smoking the blunt every day and listening to them, the people who's telling them that he's okay. Smack both of them.
Like, we have our own ways, like, as who we are as brothers right now, that like we keep ourselves in check no matter what it is. Like, if you are seen doing something dumb or wrong,
I would have been loud.
Like, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it. Like, you're not gonna hear the end of it too. It's like you're getting attacked with sticks, but the sticks are words, and you don't want to hear it from any of us, because you don't ever want to see your brothers in a, like, you don't ever want your brothers to see you in a place that, you know, anybody else could see you in, because your brothers are not just anybody. You know, there's someone you like to spend your time with, you're comfortable with. You're not you're not like in the office putting your hands up, right, wearing a suit or whatever. Like, you could chill with them no matter what the circumstance is, no matter where you're at, that type of thing. And you don't want them to be seeing, but then there are certain times where no matter what you do, Allah saw. You can't hide it from nobody else.
I mean, yeah, it comes from a place of, you know, it comes from like really deep within you. Whenever I see one of my brothers, you know, tripping or doing something that I know they're not supposed to be doing, it's like, yeah, I do everything, you know, for, you know, sabilillah, and then, you know, for the cause of Allah, but I almost feel a sense of, you know, self-responsibility. Because at the end of the day, like, I'd much rather have my friend hear me yelling at him about it than for Allah to ask him about it later on.
That's amazing.
Like, the other day, wait.
All right,
the other day, y'all got on one of our brothers. I missed the conversation, but they were out here educating our brother in our group chat, and they were getting on his head. I'm sad I missed it. And our brother behind the camera, he was doing the same thing. They were all getting on his head. But see, that's the type of thing. You have to be able to, like,
you know, he'll never do that again, though.
Yeah, you have to be able to speak to him, like, educate him, but also in a manner that, you know, like, don't ever do that again, though. I don't want to see this type of behavior ever again.
Dude, because it's foul, bro. You know.
And I know there are people behind the screen that will say, "Oh, why these brothers are so judgmental to each other?" No, we're reaching peak performance. We're just helping each other reach peak performance. This is not judgmental.
Dude, imagine if there was no criticism.
Yeah.
Imagine you just, you know, you went and, like, you invented something and, like, people were like, yeah, you know, that thing is so good. Like, where's the room for improvement?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
how can you get anywhere in life if you're gonna be so sensitive to everything that we say? Like, no, you, like, you know, you need to take a real genuine man or woman is gonna take something someone said and try to apply it to their life to improve their life in any way, shape, or form. You know, not take it as a sign of offense. Because look, me, whenever someone says something to me, I don't ever take it as something offensive. I'm just like, okay, you know, if they say something, I'm like, all right, you know,
let's analyze it, let's reflect upon it.
Yeah, like, no matter what belief system you have or whatever, Muslim or not, you have to be someone who wants for your brothers or your sisters what you want for yourself. Like, if you're a man or a woman, you have to want for them, for the people around you, what you want for yourself. The success you have you have to want it for them as well. You have to be able to like, speak with them in a manner that, you know, you guys are respectful, but at the same time, you guys challenge each other to be greater. I'm someone who I'm going to challenge all of y'all to be greater. And if we're going to the top, like, if we're gonna find success in anything, then I'm gonna bring them with me. I've always told them, like you guys are part of the team. Everybody who's around us, they're part of the team. Whether you're on camera or not, you're part of the team just because you were here when we started. And I want you around when, no matter where this is.
It's like, wallahi, I know that when one of us reach the top, the rest will follow. That's how connected we are. We're not that far apart. We're all connected. When one of us reaches the top, the next will follow. Then the next, then the next, then the next. Then we're all at the top. We're chilling. We're chilling.
Because we're in a position where we've, like, solidified our bond with each other to the fact that this bond is not just in this world. It's not in like, the desires of this world. Like, we're not deluded by what's here, because we understand what the end goal is, what the hereafter will hold for us if we make it to Jannah. Because if we're companions in Jannah, then what can you start with? That's eternal life right there. Our bond will be eternal there. And, you know, the fact that we could say that, like, I want for my brothers the fact that if I weren't to see any of you in Jannah, I'd be like, Ya Allah, where is so-and-so? And you know how you could save people if they were in the hellfire or not, or the fact that I'd be able to remember y'all. Like I'm trying to remember y'all because you know there's a lot that you won't remember.
How can I enjoy Jannah without my brother?
Exactly, that's what you want for yourself. You want to be able to like have your brothers alongside
have
with
purified companions and abide there forever with them.
Like you be able to think about the fun that you'd be able to have in that life. Versus what you could do here. Like, yeah, we have fun here, but we also know that this life is a mission.
That's the best part. You get the best of both worlds. You get the best life here and you get the best life there. What do you lose? What? You were a good person? What? You gave charity? What? You were at peace? What do you lose? Like, I'm being so serious. You're not the one waking up every morning smoking a blunt and drinking alcohol, celebrating straight failure. Like, no.
Yeah, well, like I feel undefeated, like day in and day out, knowing that I got Muslim brothers
knowing
that
I have brothers that will back me if the entire world was against me. Knowing that I have Allah, like as long as I do good and do good deeds and repent to Him. Knowing that I have this, like I feel like I can say anything, I can do anything with the utmost confidence. As long as it is in accordance with Islam.
Yeah.
Right.
Knowing that I have brothers that will back me
We can truly live. We don't fear the death.
Like
and the moment my brothers tell me I'm doing something wrong, I will backtrack.
When you got brothers that are challenging you to be a better person, not just like a better Muslim as well as a better person, challenging you to be successful in life, no matter what circumstance you're in. And the fact that like if any of us were to go through a hardship, we remind each other of like the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the ways of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, because there's no other way for you to deal with things than those ways, the ways that Allah has prescribed for us in the Quran and the way that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam lived, like, and what he taught. Like when you have that and the fact that you challenge yourself to get closer to the Deen of Allah, then like you're undefeated. That feeling is undefeated. Like, there's nothing that can beat that.
Look at the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. Look at Prophet Muhammad. He's the most influential man to ever walk the earth.
Yeah.
Even he had companions in Sahaba. He had people around him.
Yeah.
He's literally peak humanity. He had people around him.
But look how he elevated them.
And he elevated them.
Look at the like from what we know, 10 Sahaba that are guaranteed Jannah. Look at how he elevated them in status.
Like look at their rank now.
Yeah, look
how they were before and look how they are now.
What Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, what was he nicknamed when he became a companion of the Prophet? He was nicknamed as-Siddiq, the truthful, because everything he said they believed was the truth. If he said something, they believed it was truth. He was the first person to believe in the night ascension, the Isra wal Miraj. Because people obviously they always question stuff that happened, any miracles that were happening or anything that happened regarding the Prophet, they would question. But if he said it, they believed it because he was such a noble man, and he was one of the first people to accept Islam. And then look at Umar ibn Khattab. We talked about he wasn't a great man before he joined Islam, but then he joins Islam. He becomes one of the 10 guaranteed Jannah. And he's also becomes one of the most
greatest warriors. He becomes one of the greatest warriors, greatest leaders.
Leaders of the Muslims.
Like, bro, he became a boss, man. You give me
exactly. And then like it's just things like that. You look at how Islam has elevated people, elevated their status, elevated like the character within them. You know, created bonds, created brotherhood, created unity. But obviously, there's so much fitna today that we're becoming divided. You know, so many people they see themselves as like this and that. Or they interpret the Quran in different ways. Like I remember I saw a video that said it was by Jubilee. They had liberal Muslims and they had conservative Muslims. Conservatives are like us. They are people who believe the Quran and Sunnah are perfect the way they are. Nothing needs to be changed.
They don't need to be
and then you got liberal Muslims who want to like liberalize Islam for the way that we live today. And so there was a question that was like the Quran should be reinterpreted for the 21st century, for like the times that we live in right now. And there were people who said yes because they were like, oh, because some people who come to Islam, they don't really understand how, you know, the book from 1400 years ago or something could be like in this time. And before you guys even say anything, I want to say this. The fact that anybody could think that the Quran should be reinterpreted, how can you not see what's wrong with what you just said? You're basically saying that Allah did not know what was going to happen. You're basically saying that the Prophet ﷺ didn't know what was going to happen in the ummah. He saw certain things, and that's why he gave us warnings. He said there will come upon a time in my ummah in such and such. He said it in multiple hadith where he gave us signs about the end of times and about the times of this ummah and what would happen and like the fitnas we'd face. And then you're basically insulting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying that Allah didn't know that this was gonna happen. So maybe we should like reinterpret the Quran and say like and make things lawful that aren't lawful. Because one of the things that these liberal Muslims said was that the people of Lut didn't get destroyed because they were gay. they didn't get destroyed because of that. Then they're saying that being gay isn't haram or being bisexual isn't haram. Being, obviously being anything other than heterosexual, they're basically saying is not haram. Being a transgender, they're saying, they said that, what's it called? That is, an identity thing with them. And they're basically saying, again, Allah has made mistakes.
Nah, bro, that's cap.
It is cap, but what would you tell someone? This is what I'm asking.
What I tell them?
What would you tell them if they said the Quran needs to be reinterpreted?
Like,
So they have perfected
bully.
my religion.
You bully.
I'll be like, Zola, what is wrong with you? Like, what do you mean it needs to be revised? You need to be revised.
Yeah, tighten up, bro. What's wrong with you? What did you just say from Surah Al-Ma'idah?
So they have perfected your religion, Islam.
Islam, yeah.
Yeah, the day of Arafah.
Islam.
That's when the Islam was perfected. Muhammad, what would you say?
Yeah, what would you say to somebody?
Well, I don't think, obviously, the Quran doesn't need to be reinterpreted because that would mean that there was something wrong with it in the beginning. But the Quran is always being interpreted. I don't know if that is because, like, there's a reason why the Quran was the last book.
Yes.
It's eternal. This is the book
Timeless,
that's gonna be
yes.
fitting for, for humanity all the way until the day of judgment.
Yep.
So there are certain things in the Quran that we don't know what they are. And it's up to generations after us to look at what it was and then truly understand what it meant.
Like, for example, scientific miracles we found out today. Like,
Yeah,
did you really think
exactly.
people like 1,000 years ago were really like on that, like the way we are today? Because now we're looking at it, we're like, dang, like, how could
Now
this
you
have been
even
known?
see, you even see it. And like when the body of Pharaoh, yeah, well, you're right. When the body of Pharaoh was found, like the people like 200 years ago probably didn't know what this
Yeah,
meant.
they weren't thinking about
But then
it.
they found the body of the Pharaoh.
So
And then
imagine,
you see in the Quran what it says.
The Quran says, we'll preserve your body as a warning signs to those who come after you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew what was going to happen. He knows, like, bro, it's literally like idiotic of you to say God didn't know what was going to happen. Like, are you stupid? Yeah,
bro, look, there's still so much about the Quran that we don't know about.
Exactly.
So, what he made was a really good point that, there's still many generations to come after us. And, who knows what they will
So
discover.
what would I say to someone who says the Quran needs to be revised? I'd be like, yeah, you're cap.
Yeah, you need unlimited revisions.
You need a revision.
You got to look
You
at
need to look at the people around you because they need to help you.
And you look at belief systems around us. None of them are permitting the stuff that people are saying that Islam should permit. Islam is not a religion that is saying we're open to this or you can
Dude,
do this openly and not see it be not a sin.
Dude, I was driving past the church yesterday and it said, "We say gay" on the banner. I'm like, dude, where did this come from? Like, where did these revisions come from?
Look, we can't like accept that because Islam will be standing regardless of if no one was a Muslim or if everybody was a Muslim.
Haram is
Islam-
haram
yeah.
even if everybody's doing it. And halal is halal even if nobody is doing it. Simple as that. Simple as this one.
Islam will stand no matter what because Islam doesn't need none of us. Allah doesn't need none of us. So for someone to say like, oh, this pushes people away from Islam, then let them be pushed away from Islam. They're allowing shaitan to push them away from Islam. Because if you want to reject the scripture, if you want to reject the words of Allah, then you are just as bad as everybody else who like is getting turned away. Like there's no distinction between you and there's no dignification in saying something like that. Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
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 Alhamdulillah for Islam, man.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. But with that being said, I'm gonna close out this episode. This episode speaking about unity, man. We need to be unified as an ummah. And as human beings, we need to be unified. We need to look to each other, advise each other, be like truly brothers and
Be in
sisters in Islam.
competition with each other.
That term, brothers and sisters in Islam, is not just a term, man. That you have to take that to heart. That like we are brothers and sisters. We should all want to see each other in Jannah one day. Like
Right.
regardless if you know me or if you don't. If you know us as a Muslim, then take us in as a Muslim and advise us or teach us or whatever. Do whatever you can to help the betterment of society. That's what we should be looking to do. Doing everything fi sabilillah, for the cause of Allah. With that being said, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
All right, with that being said, just a reminder, like every single episode, we're not scholars, still students of knowledge, always open to correction. So yeah, and I hope you guys liked and enjoy this. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share with all your friends and family members, inshallah. Spread the Deen, spread Islam, and also we want you guys to reach out with us, engage with us. We want to talk with you, inshallah. So with that being said, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.